6 months away from the general elections, the United Nations, in collaboration with Canadian government, has engaged traditional leaders in addressing violence against women in politics. The high-level dialogue meeting is coming on the heels of low turnout of women in electoral processes and how traditional leaders could intensify efforts in their localities towards ending violence against women in politics. Benedict Oku has more on the story.
Reports have shown that the average representation of women in the national parliament is about 4%. At a dialogue meeting in Abuja, the UN Women, the Canadian government and traditional leaders echoed their voices on the full participation of women in politics. In his welcoming address, the UN resident coordinator Matthias Schmel said that there is a need for multi-stakeholder engagement to address low participation of women in politics.
Violence against women in politics and in elections, from our perspective in the UN, must be addressed with a sense of urgency, especially as we approach next year's general elections. We have seen reports indicating that some female voters were prevented from accessing polling units, while others were either threatened or intimidated to vote for candidates other than their own preferred choice. There is, against this reality, from our perspective, again, significant need for multi-stakeholder engagement.
Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria, represented by Jifa Ado, said enforcing women participation in politics could increase peace in the nation.
Having women at the table to play a greater role in decision-making, particularly at the political level, is a key part of it. Royal Highnesses, Royal Majesties, we recognize the great collective action you have all taken as traditional leaders to address gender-based violence and the important role you play all daily to ensure peace within your respective communities. From our perspective, increasing women's active participation in the political sphere helps to drive a peaceful society and its development forward in many ways, from increased recognition of the human rights to access to health services, quality education, and economic outcomes for everyone. It is the gateway to achieving greater development in a just society. And this leads to peace and prosperity for more Nigerians.
While highlighting the overview situation of women participation in Nigeria, the UN Women Country Representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Beatrice Ayong, urged the traditional leaders to use their office in echoing women participation in politics.
One of the things that is a block is the high rate of violence against women. It discourages women from even standing as candidates. It discourages women even for going for election. It discourages women from being useful in the electoral processes. We thought that our Royal Highnesses, our Royal Majesties, our Royal Fathers, we believe that you have the mind of the people. We believe that you want development and peace for your people. We believe that you are the first protector of your community. We believe that you are a very highly respected actor of sustainable development. That's why we said, let's have this discussion with you, because we believe that if you decide to take this on board, I think some of these issues will be solved in our communities.
The Sultan of Sokoto, the Oni of Ife, and representatives of other prominent traditional rulers disclosed their commitment to ensuring fair play.
It is our responsibility as community leaders, religious leaders, and traditional leaders to ensure that we give women equal right in terms of participating in politics, by strongly and seriously advising our political players, politicians, and the men folk to ensure that they allow women to also participate.
Even women will not even support the women counterpart. I know sometimes ago, there was a woman that rise to the level of a position of contesting for presidential position. But at the end of the result, we can only counted one person voted for her, which is me that is the only one that voted for herself. Even the family member, they didn't vote for her. So these are the things that we know that we, the traditional ruler, have a role to play in that aspect. Even in the nation of women political aspirants, today, if a woman marry in another state, she may not be able to contest in that state. Even if he now went back to her own state, they will say, go back to your husband's state, which is part of the violence against our women today. What I believe that we as a traditional rulers should do now is to avoid, to make sure that we do more sensitization to make our people know the implication of this.
Several factors have hindered women from entering and remaining engaged in politics. The United Nations has called on traditional leaders to intensify efforts towards ending violence against women in politics.